to Good Morning Gwinnett, a division of Noise Media Network, hosted by Audrey Bell Kearney, sharing stories about people and places around beautiful Gwinnett County and beyond. Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. Southern living at its best.
Good morning, all my Gwinnetians out there in Gwinnett land and all of you around the world listening to the sound of my voice. Let me tell y'all, don't be jealous of you somewhere it's cold. It is a beautiful day here in Gwinnett County. I'm talking about 61 degrees already, going up to the high of 75. So you know I love that. And there's no rain in the forecast. And I have to say that very quietly because, you know, at any second it could rain across the street. You know, it's weird down here. When I first moved down here, I saw it rain across the street and not rain on my side of the street. And I'm like, is it raining? I'm looking out the window and it was literally raining on the other side of the street. So I can't even explain that. But anyway, it is a beautiful day here in Gwinnett County. And listen, today is Thursday, Spotlight Thursday. You know, I got a guest and I got a good one. She's a filmmaker. She was an attorney. Now she's a filmmaker. She's putting out content that's focused on African American women and the struggles and the strife that we go through. So I'm excited to have her as my guest today. But before I get to my guest, you know what I gotta do. I gotta tell you what the national day is, and we gotta do the horoscopes. And then we'll get to our guest. And by the way, it's Thursday. Yes, it is Thursday. It is my last day for the week. I know. I won't rub it in because I know some of you still got one more day to go. But for me, it's my last day for the week. However, that never works out because I'm building this $1 million brand. So I really don't take a day off. I just don't talk to you guys. Anyway, today is National Oatmeal Nut Waffle Day. I don't have no idea. I've never had it's National Oatmeal Nut Waffle Day. Now, if you like all of that, that's good. It's also National Johnny Appleseed Day. Remember Johnny Appleseed when you were a little kid? Yeah, we all remember Johnny Appleseed. So I'm kind of dating myself because kids right now be like, what? Like Johnny Appleseed? What is that? Like, we don't, is it Fortnite? I know. No, it's Johnny Appleseed. I want to wish a happy birthday to my dad all the way in heaven. Today is his birthday. He would have been 77 years old. I was just sitting here thinking, my dad passed away. That was 16 years ago. No. Was it 16 years ago? What's this, 20? 15 years. That time went by so quick. It is crazy, y'all. Let me see, this is 20. Yeah, about 15 years ago. When I tell you that time went by extremely quick, but I think about how young he was when he passed away. I'm like, wow, he was kind of young. That was kind of young when you think about it. But anyway, happy birthday, Marion, all the way in heaven. I know you up there with my mother. It was so crazy, y'all. My mom passed away in January from COVID, and at the funeral, the guy told a story. So I did the obituary, right? Because I always believe, even though my mom and dad had divorced, like when I was 10, I think my mother still loved him, and I think he actually still loved her, even though he remarried. And so when he got sick, he said to my mom, if something happens to me, take care of my son. Now, this is his son by the woman who broke up their marriage. I'm like, really? So I'm thinking to myself, are you kidding me? Like, are you serious? And my mother said, okay. And she meant that. And so when my dad passed away, she literally brought my brother from California here to Jersey, and he lived with us. And I could not believe it, but she did that. But in my mother obituary, I put in there that, you know, even though they had separated, they had been divorced for so long, I think she still loves him. So he told us so the guy at the funeral told us an amazing story about how Marion was waiting for Evelyn to get up there and how they were getting together again to party. It was such a cute story, and it really made me feel like, you know, because my mom was my heart, along with my daughter and my granddaughter, but it made me, it kind of broke up the pain of just a little bit, just a little bit, because it was so funny, like the story he told, and people were like, but I really think my mother and father still loved each other, because he came back for her, but she was like done, because my father was a Rolling Stone, y'all. He had women rolling like the river, and my mother used to beat all of them. She used to beat every one of them with a curtain rod. That was her weapon of choice. She had a curtain rod that she rolled with under the seat of her car, in the front seat of her car. So whenever she needed to jump out the car and swipe a chick, I can't say what I really want to say because it's a family show. But whenever she wanted to jump out on him, she would jump out on him with her curtain rod and beat all of them. Like his wife that he actually married. My brother and I, we must have been probably about 7 or 8, and she was going to work that morning, and she had to go pick up her friends, and it was 3 friends in the car, my brother and I, and my dad hadn't come home that night, And she saw his car parked in the lady driveway. And the lady come to the door. She knocked on the door. And it had to be about 6 o'clock in the morning because it was still dark. I'm never going to forget these stories. And she knocks on the door. And the woman come to the door yawning. She like yawning. And my mother cracked her right in the head with it. And we were all in the car, me, her friends, my brother. We like jumping around like, get it. It was crazy. And she beat it with the curtain rod. And the woman had a scar. And then my father married that woman. She had a scar on her forehead. So the one time I went to California to visit my father, my mother said to me, and we had never left my mother because it was just my brother and I and my mom. We were very, very close. And my mother said to me, see if you can see that scar I put on her forehead. Yeah, my mother was a mess. She grew up with 6 brothers, and she was a mess. So my father, and it's so funny because we're gonna talk to my guest today, and she's gonna be talking about these type of stories that we don't see on TV. You know what I mean? When it comes to us, but my mother was a mess. She had 6 brothers, and she fought like a dude. And my father would fight her, and she would fight him back. And they used to fight all the time. And because he was a Rolling Stone, I told y'all that. But anyway, let me get on with the show. I could talk about that stuff all day long. I love both of them. Even though me and my dad had like a pretty rocky relationship, and he was the reason I had to figure out that I wasn't enough, that I thought I wasn't enough. And so my self-love movement creator here, she's going to talk about all that stuff, because you be surprised at the little things that happen in your life, how it weighs on your life later on in life. And I had daddy issues and didn't even know it. I'm not going to even go there right now. I'm going to go ahead and give you your horoscopes. But today, March 11th, brought to you by noted astrologer Michael Thiason. We're going to pick it up like we always do, and that is with Aries. Be honest in your communication and don't lose your cool if someone backs you into a corner. A change of attitude has probably disrupted your home environment. Okay? Don't confront the situation if you don't feel you can keep your cool. Listen, today's keyword is keep your cool. If you feel like you're going to blow it out listen, just don't, because it's going to be a problem. You got to live at home, and you're going to make everybody mad, and everybody be walking around, and energy is going to be bad. Like, I'm studying energy work right now. So if you putting out negative, bad energy, you're going to attract negative, bad energy. So just keep it cool. Go to a corner, meditate. Go sit outside on the deck. Sit outside in the yard if you have to. Just keep it cool. Taurus, the key to feeling good about yourself will be to do something about it. Amen to that. Stars, don't count on your friends to be loyal when it comes to doing things. Do your chores and get on with the things you enjoy doing. Amen to that too. Yes. Yeah, the key about feeling good about yourself is to do something about it. You can't feel good about yourself if you're sitting around feeling bad about yourself. I just told y'all I'm doing energy work. I had a lot going on. The loss of my mom. Now I don't have like this. My mom was a big part of my life. I mean, a huge part. Like, she and her brother live with me, and I will take one to the doctor 1 month, take the other one to the doctor the other month. I had to cook and clean. It was crazy, but I love my mother, so it wasn't, it wasn't not a thing. And then when she passed away, I was like, oh my God. I texted my brother. He said, what you doing? I said, I'm trying to figure out what to do with my life, because I have one now, and I don't know what to do with it. So that was kind of crazy. But anyway, let's keep it moving so I can get to my guest. Gemini, your talents are likely to be discovered. But first, find out if they're married. Yes, please do. You will benefit through hidden assets and property investments. Okay, you're going to do some benefits. But here's the thing. You need to find out if they're married first. I don't care how cute they are, how fine, how sexy, how smart, how rich. Are they married? Because if they're married, it's a no. No. Cancer. Relatives may be less than easy to deal with. Keep a lookout for any individuals eager to confront you with unsavory situations. You can bet that someone in a higher position is watching to see how busy you really are. So if you fronting right now, acting like you're busy, just trying to do something to make yourself look busy, they're watching you. Cancer, they are watching you. So make sure that you are really doing some work and stop playing around. Stop fronting. Leo, don't let others take advantage of your good nature. Minor fevers or infection will develop if you are stressed. Oh, yes. If you overstress, you could develop minor fevers and infections. I'm learning this energy thing. We make ourselves sick. Yes, we do. It would be in your best interest to stay away from any intimate involvement with a client or a coworker. I told y'all that story about, getting involved with somebody who worked with you. Y'all break up and he still come by and see you and the girlfriend there it's a mess. Don't do it. Just don't do it. I did that. I did it. He would come to my desk to make up with me every day. And she approached me. The girl approached me. She's like, Audrey, I don't want to disrespect you or anything, but he told me you guys were broken up. I said, you need to tell him that because he comes to my desk every day after lunch. All you got to do is come down the hall. You'll see it. And sure enough, I told her that. And she was cool. She was very disrespectful. We had a daughter together. And she was trying to be respectful, which I respected her for doing that. And she came down the hall just like I told her. He was standing right at my desk. I was like, yeah, tell your man to stay away from my desk. You don't want to do that. Leave work at work. Leave home at home. Don't do it. It could get ugly. Even though she was nice, so it never got ugly. Virgo, your boss may not be in the best of moods today. You may be tired of working for someone else. Yes, because your boss is not in a good mood. That's what I'm telling you. You'll be too quick to point a finger at your mate. Listen, before you start pointing fingers, Virgo, make sure you point them the right. You might need to turn that finger on yourself. Is it you or is it him? Or is it the both of you? I'm just saying. I'm just asking the question. All right, listen, I'm going to a song. I'll be right back after the song so I can finish up these horoscopes and get on with my guests, so stay tuned.
Even when it don't feel right, I still wanna party with her. Even when it don't feel right, you know I'ma party with her, with her, with her. She be calling on a Monday, wanna meet on Tuesday, asking me to fix me up real nice. She can wait until the weekend, she wants off the deep end, telling me to bring the stuff I like. I don't wanna let her down, so I'm telling her yes. I'm counted down from the pain in my chest, but I'm putting her aside now. I'ma feel her right now. Happy from the stuff I know she likes. I've been trying my luck every day of the week, yeah. With my baby, what's up? Ay, always down every week, yeah. No, I love her too much, but I just can't get enough. She's slipping through the cracks, come a block. She know what's up. Can't get enough, yeah, even when it don't feel right. I still wanna party with her, oh yeah. Even when it don't feel right, you know I'ma party with her, with her, with her. We be chillin' on the Wednesday, slept until it's Thursday. She don't wanna leave me, not just yet. Told me all about last Friday when she went on crazy. Didn't go to bed till Saturday. I don't wanna go without, so I asked her to stay. Though she broke my heart in a million ways, but I'm putting that aside now. I'ma feel alright now, happy just as long as she's with me. I've been trying my luck every day of the weekend. With my baby, what's up? Always down every weekend. No, I love her too much, but I just can't get enough. She's slipping through the cracks, come up love. She know what's up, yeah. Can't get enough, yeah. Even when it don't feel right, hey, I still wanna party with her. Even when it don't feel right, yeah. You know I'ma party with her, with her, with her. Yeah. Even when it don't feel right, I still wanna party with her, oh yeah. Even when it don't feel right, you know I'ma party with her, with her, with her. Even when it don't feel right, you know I'ma party with her, with her, with her. Yeah, yeah.
Right. Y'all know I love the music. I'm like, yes, if it don't feel right, I'm still gonna party with her. Yes, yes, yes. It's your girl Audrey Bell Kearney giving you the daily horoscopes brought to you by Noted Astrologer Micah Thies. So we're going to pick it up with Libra. You can find yourself left without someone's dirty laundry. Oh, left with someone's dirty laundry. Okay, now romance appears. Channel your energy into decorating or household chores. channel your energy to clean up that dirty laundry. That could be a part of the chores, I guess. Yeah, I need to channel my energy. Yes, I do. Scorpio, limitations will set in if you haven't followed the rules. Rest and relaxation will be more favorable than you think. Take time to look at any outdated papers of possible investments. Look, you might have some money sitting somewhere. Take some time. Look at that stuff. Yes, it could be some money sitting. I told y'all the story about my brother who put some money in an index annuity, and he got a check, and he thought it was a mistake. And I was like, nah, it was an annuity, so it probably did gain interest over the last 20 years. It was a nice fat little check too. He was like, I didn't know what was happening. He was talking to his wife about it. It was hilarious. So I had to explain to him what that meant. So, cause he didn't know. My brother, like, listen, when it's time for him to talk tech and talk like business, he come to me. You want to talk football? You go to him. You talk tech and business, you come to me. And he called me. He called me one time. It was hilarious. He called me one time. He said, "Oh, had you ever heard of something called dinars?" And I just bust out and started laughing. I was like, "Yeah, that junk is booty." And but I have dinars. My mom and I have dinars because somebody came to us like, "You gotta get these dinars. They're gonna revalue them. It's gonna be $3 dinars." So we went out and bought like $100,000 worth of dinars. So that's like Iraq money or some craziness. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm over here at TD Bank, and I think I'm about to go get something." I was like, "Don't waste your money. It's not gonna happen. They haven't revalued in 40 years. Don't waste your money." Anyway, keep moving. Sagittarius, you will learn easily if you put forth an effort. Don't let your emotional upset interfere with your professional objectives. Don't let your mate talk you into going somewhere you'd rather not go. Just say no. The most powerful 2-letter word in our vocabulary. No, I don't want to go, and I'm not going. Especially if it's something you just really don't want to do. Like, if it's not going to benefit you in any way, you just really don't want to do it, say no. Just say, and that person needs to just understand, I don't want to do that. So stop trying to make me do something I don't want to do. And if you love me, you wouldn't do that. Slap that on them. Capricorn, verbal abuse may lead to walkouts. Don't make any rash statements you may regret later. You can finish projects early, which will bring you praise from superiors. Your confidence will stabilize your position. Let me tell y'all something. I talk about this all the time. Watch the tongue. Make sure you think through what you want to say, because once you say it out your mouth, you can't take it back. I don't care how many times you say, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean it." It's stuck in that person's mind. Let me tell you something. When you say something bad to somebody, it burns in their mind quickly than anything else. Just think about that for a second. You can tell people all day long, "You're beautiful, you're nice, you're sweet." They'll be like, "Okay, thank you." It goes right out of their heads because a lot of times they don't believe it. But you say something bad to somebody, oh, it's stuck forever. Ask me. I could tell you, you may forgive, but you don't forget. So Capricorn, before you say something that you may regret later, think it through, baby, because you can't take it back once it's out your mouth. Aquarius, you have your own family to consider as well. Go after your professional goals. If your lover tries to curtail your freedom, it may lead to conflict. Try not to discuss important matters with colleagues. Keep your business to yourself is what the stars are trying to tell you today, Aquarius. Try not to. Just don't. You ain't got to try. Just don't. If you don't want it out, don't tell it. That's as simple as that. I don't know why they would try not. Just don't. Just shut your mouth. And last but not least, my fellow fish Pisces, discuss your objectives with your partners or peers. Travel opportunities must be taken advantage of. Social events will be favorable. I'm ready to do some traveling. I'm going to Mexico, but I'm not going to June. I'm going to Mexico, though. We're going for my daughter's 30th birthday. We're excited about that. It's like 5 of us going, so that's going to be exciting. But I'm ready to go. I'm getting ready now. I'm like preparing right now. I just came off a trip, right? I just came from my birthday in last month. We went to Florida. It was cold. They always take me to Florida for my birthday. This is the second time. It's like, we're going to go to Florida, and it was cold both times. And they was like, "It's not that cold down here normally." Yeah, it's cold again. I've been here this 2 times and for my birthday, and it's cold. All right, that's all the horoscopes I got for you today. I'll be back on Monday to bring you more of the horoscopes brought to you by noted astrologer Micah Thassa. Now let's get on with my guest. I'm so excited to have her today. She's a filmmaker. She's a visionary. She's a culture shaper. She's a self-love movement creator. She is the founder of Ron Ash LLC. She's a former attorney who decided, you know what, I'm going to follow my passion and follow my dreams and become a filmmaker. And I'm going to make films for Black women, about Black women. So without further ado, I would like to welcome to the show Miss Sauda. I hope I'm saying this right. Sauda Johnson-McNeal. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you. It's Sauda.
Sauda. Okay.
Yeah.
Sauda. Okay.
It's okay.
All right. I hate messing up people's names. At one time, this woman, I knew her personally. I knew her for a long time. Her name was Stephanie. But I must have never called her name. So the one time I did call her name, I said, Steph. She said, that's not my name. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. We get so used to shortening people's names. So you need to ask people, what do you go by? So that way you don't offend anybody. She's like, that's not my name. I was on a call Sunday night, and I talked to the person, and they were a doctor, right? But I'm thinking, she's like a business coach and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, I call her by her first name. She's like, yeah, I go by doctor. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. So you have to ask people. So, Sauda, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, so man, we got a lot to unpack here. So you are a filmmaker, but you were a former attorney. And I like talking to people who make these giant leaps into other directions. So you became an attorney, and you work with people who were in low income, helping them buy their first home. So tell me about that process first.
Yes. So, I'm still always going to stay licensed as an attorney, but definitely shut down the law firm. And I started off in New York, and I represented first-time home buyers because, I'm in Los Angeles now, but in New York, you need an attorney at the closing table, which is not required in Los Angeles. So that really hit home for me because I've always been purpose-driven. My parents were revolutionaries. Everything was about advocacy, especially for people of African descent. And so it only made sense to me, especially during that time, which we're talking late 90s, early 2000s, when everything was happening right before the housing crisis. I wanted to make sure that people understood exactly what they were signing and what they were getting into with these contracts, buying these homes, right? So I represented buyers, sellers, as well as the banks at the closing table. And then I transitioned when I moved to California to become a special education attorney. So I represent children with special needs, helping them obtain services that they need to be able to access the curriculum.
It's so funny you say that because that housing thing was a mess. I got caught up in that mess, and we wound up getting a mortgage. We got a split mortgage because we didn't know. We was like, okay, they're gonna approve us, and we're like, yeah, we could do it. So my mortgage every month living in Jersey was $30. I'm never gonna forget this because that was hard. $39.93 a month. You would think I was living in a mother freaking mansion. And that was just the mortgage. That was not my public service and energy bill. Because remember, here in Georgia and probably out in LA too, it's warm pretty much most of the year. Even when it's cold here in Georgia. Like today, it's going to be 75 degrees today and it's March. In Jersey, it gets cold. And so I had not a cape. I had, it wasn't Victorian, but it was a big house and it was older. And so my electric bill in the wintertime, $800. So you add $800 on top of $39.93, and then you add the gas on top of that, and then you add the water bill on. Oh my God, it was crazy, and it caught me. It caught us out there, and we stuck it through to 2013. And my husband, their job, he works in pharmaceutical. They changed jobs, and something happened with one of the medicines. And when that happened, I said, I'm going to Georgia. Now you can come if you want to, but I'm out. So he was like, we out. So I've been here ever since, and I got to tell you, it's the best move I think I've ever made. So now you decide to take this huge leap because to me, that's a huge leap. I know you're following your passion, and I understand because that's what I've been doing for 24 years. But you had a great career as an attorney, and you decide to walk away and become a filmmaker in this very shaky industry. Why?
Well, I mean, so you basically stated the first major reason, right? It's funny. My story is very interesting. So I actually became an attorney as a backup, or to make sure that I could pay the bills to pursue my film. So if I really take you back to like my story in college, all through elementary, my entire childhood, I was always studying theater, acting, film. So it's literally been my passion for as long as I can remember. So I was on that path, went to USC, University of Southern California in Los Angeles, studied acting there, screenwriting, everything. Started going on auditions, and I thought, ooh, this is not going to be that easy. I dealt with a lot of, colorism issues in terms of, being able to break into the industry as a Black woman. And I just thought, is this the way I want to go? And then I was working on a film set, and this sister was running the set. She was literally the woman in charge, head woman in charge. And I remember I asked her, I'm like, how do you become the producer of this whole set? And she said, oh, I'm an attorney. Oh. And I said, oh. And I said, well, that's what I'm going to do. So that was junior year in college. And that was the decision. I said, okay, let me go to law school and then I can become a producer. Well, long story short, 20 years later, I did go to law school, but I put the dream on the back burner because I followed the money, number one, because it was great money, but also I do love I loved what I was doing in terms of helping people. So it wasn't that easy to break away, even as recent as shutting down my law firm now, helping children with special needs. Like, it's not like an easy walk away because I'm doing something that actually fulfills me. But I'm going to tell you, during the pandemic, my husband and I have been quarantined for a year now. We're one of the ones who literally have not left the house other than just to go, to the very basics like the grocery store. And we've been watching TV and films almost every day because that's what I do and that's my passion. And I've never watched as many movies as I have during this pandemic. And I'm not seeing us. I'm not seeing Black women, and not just seeing Black women, because there are stories that are being made. So I pay respect to the Sister Ava DuVernay, Oprah Winfrey, Issa Rae. So it's happening. But what I'm talking about is consistently seeing us in the media as if it's like going to, like, having dinner. And then how are we being depicted, right? I was not seeing consistently where you see our tribulations, but what about our triumphs? And what about our self-love journeys, which is such a major thing in my life and in so many other women I know, that we have these self-love journeys. Yes, we've gone through these kind of like peaks but in valleys, but at the end of the day, we need to know, how do we love ourselves or learn to love ourselves? What's the process? And then we come out on the other side triumphant, right? And so that's what I wanted to see on the screen. And when I started Googling self-love films, I probably found less than 5 that were with Black women.
Really?
So I said, oh, this is my niche. Following Tyler Perry has a niche, and I love him for it. I said, I'm going to have a niche too. Wow. So that's how I landed there.
That's so interesting, because I think about all, like, even when I realized, it's like, so when I realized that I had father issues, I was watching Oprah, and T.D. Jakes was on there he was talking to this group of women, and they were talking about not being enough, and I did not have a clue that I had issues until I listened to that episode. And so even with that, and that was 2011, that's when she first launched the TV network OWN, but even with that, you would think by now, because it's so prevalent in our communities, that somebody would say, no, we need to make more films like that. Why do you think that's not the case?
I think it's just a difficult, Hollywood is a tough nut to crack, right? So I think one part of it is just being able to be accepted, right? Because we're talking about, specifically, at least for me, I'm very focused in terms of Black women, right, and Black people, because I feel like I am Black, and so that's just where the way I want to go, right? So that's just difficult for Hollywood, I believe, to accept. But I think now, based on what's happening in the wake of, our brother George Floyd, our sister Breonna Taylor, I just think the time is right. But I also think that people just don't realize, because we're not talking about it. One of the major issues that I've noticed in terms of at least the Black women in my circle is that it is difficult to share our journeys, right? Like, it's a very private, personal thing to be able to share what you went through as a child, any childhood trauma. Or, for me, basically, I call it try to put myself to sleep, but someone else might say I tried to kill myself when I first graduated from college and took a whole bottle of Advil. My mother literally had to take out a belt to whip me to get into the car to go to the ER to get my stomach pumped at 22 years old, right?
Wow.
So these stories, these aren't easy to share. These are stories of fertility struggles, especially if you're trying to have a baby and then it doesn't happen, you don't necessarily want to share that. If you've been abused or you've chosen to stay in an abusive relationship for 20 plus years and you finally have decided that this is not the best relationship for you, you don't necessarily want to share that. So, and then we have this kind of like, hey, strong Black woman, we are warriors. We have to just, that's part of part of like our history, if we go all the way back to slavery through now, it's like we've had to be strong to survive. Mm-hmm. But I think what we're missing and what we need is that we need to have our sister circle, right? Mm-hmm. Even it doesn't have to be, you don't have to go on social media and share your story if you don't choose, but at least within your circle, find some confidants, right? And be able to share your story so that way you might learn from another sister's like, oh, I've been there. I mean, these support groups, these sister circles, these are so important. And I've been learning that because I actually have a self-love series that I've been doing since December. So I've been having these professionals come on, and they're teaching me so much. And everyone keeps saying, we have to be able to share our self-love journeys. And because of that, because we don't share, I don't think Hollywood or anyone else has really thought about making films about that because it's not something that we've done in our own community. So this is part of what I'm trying to do, or what I'm doing, is I'm changing the narrative so that it's really clear. No, we have self-love journeys, and we go through things, but we come out on the other side because we support each other. As Black women, we will come together and we will support each other. Look what we did look at Stacey Abrams and VP Kamala Harris. Mm-hmm. We show up and we show out. I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and when we saw Sora Kamala, we were like, where do you need us, right? So it's just really, that's really why I believe it hasn't happened, because they don't know yet. They don't know that we have, our truth is that, yes, we are strong, but we are also, we're human, right? We go through the same thing that anyone else goes through, if not more, because we're dealing with racism, sexism, colorism, ageism. So it's like, these are our stories, and it's time for you to hear that, not just these stereotypes. Like, we're more than just, yes, there are women who have been addicted to crack. Yes, there are women who were maids. Like, that is part of our story too, and our journeys as Black women, so I'm not disparaging that. However, there are women like yourself who have a podcast, who distribute it on Amazon. You know what I mean? Like, who's tech savvy. Like, what about those stories where you see that we are triumphant, we are successful, even though we had an issue like you mentioned with your father, where you felt like, oh, was I enough? Was I enough? And even that's something we deal with every day, negative self-talk in our heads. Like, even with me, like, okay, Sauda, are you really going to stop practicing law and do this? This is not like a stable career choice, but it's like, okay, let's get this negative self-talk out and say, you have a cause, and when people start finding out what you're doing, you're going to have so many allies, and people are going to rally behind you. Sisters are going to rally behind you. This is going to work, because guess what? They need our content. They need to hear our voices.
Mm-hmm. And it's so cool that you said that, because I've been doing this for a long time. I started out 24 years ago, and when I first started, I was working at Verizon, so that was considered a very good job, which it was. And people thought I had lost my mind, because I quit cold turkey, Sauda. I didn't have any money saved up. I just had a dream. I had bad credit because I had went to college and got all the credit cards, so I filed bankruptcy when I was 24. So by the time I got ready to do this thing, I think I was like 31 or something. And no, I was 30. I was 30. And people thought I had lost my mind. I took a motherfucking paper route, and I was throwing papers at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's like, this girl done lost their mind. I said, at least y'all get your Sunday paper for free, because I give it to you. But and those are the stories you don't see. When I first moved to Georgia and I launched HerTube TV, I was producing I think I produced all the episodes, but it was so bad. It wasn't bad. The production was fine, but they didn't want it because they wanted me to have ratchetness. And I was like, I don't want ratchet. I want to have a ratchet show. It's called Miss Boss Atlanta, and it was supposed to be about women who were running their own business, but I didn't want ratchet. I wanted you to see, like, behind the scenes, like, what the freak I go through every day. It was me, and it it was 3 other women. And so I was the executive producer, and my thing was, let's produce a show where you can really see behind the scenes, look over our shoulder, what we do as businesswomen every day, managing families and all that stuff. And at that time, I was taking care of my daughter was grown, but I was still taking care of my mom, trying to run a business and trying to figure out how to navigate Georgia because I was new again. And no, they was like, that's going to be boring. Like, they want ratchet. And I was like, I don't want ratchet. And so I think that's important though, because I don't want ratchet. And I give you a prime example. There's a new show on called Bell Collective. I don't know if you got a chance to see it yet, but it's out of Mississippi, and it's 4 black women, millionaires. They're doing great things, but they got the ratchet part going on. And so I watched it because I had to go to Jersey last weekend for a funeral, and I watched the show. And when it came on, it was ratchet, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to watch this," And I try to look at it from what I was looking for. And I was looking for the business side. And she's trying to pull everybody together to build up Jackson, Mississippi again. But they're fighting about the hair. And it's just crazy. And I'm like, why do we have to have all of our shows like that? You don't have to. So I applaud you for creating content that is not just ratchet all the time. Because we're more than that.
Exactly. And that's not to say that, because I do believe in inclusivity in everyone's story. So if there is someone who is ratchet, we'll show that, but then we'll also show her journey, or we'll show that there's more sides to her, right? Because some of us could all have a little bit of ratchet.
Oh, yeah.
But that doesn't define us and who we are, right? So That's part of what I want to be able to show is like, okay, this system may have some ratchet in her, but maybe she hasn't been loved, or maybe somebody wasn't there to help guide her to help her to mature into a young woman. And it's like, okay, let's show that side. Or maybe she loves being ratchet and we don't know that, but maybe there's a whole self-love journey in the business side that we can kind of develop. So that's the idea, right? Is that we, like you said, we're not. Yes, there may be that aspect of it, but that'll just be, if it is, it'll be a small part, and then we're going to show an arc to show how they then kind of come out on the other side, and knowing how to be a businesswoman and turn the ratchet off.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I know, because listen, I grew up in Newark, so I can be ratchet. So, I grew up in Newark. I
grew up in Brooklyn. I get it.
That's right. So we get it, right? But it doesn't have to be 24/7. It doesn't have to be fighting and cursing. So I get that part. So I'm excited to see the work that you're going to be putting out, because I think we need that. I want to go back, though. You said something about the beginning of your journey coming out of college. You said, you tried to, what did you call it? You said it was really cute.
I said put myself to sleep for a long time. That's what I said.
Why did you do that? Because I'm interested to know why. Because I have a niece, and she is so driven, and she's 22 now, but she's major driven. I feel like there's something going on, and she won't talk to us about it. So why did you do that?
I think, there's several reasons, especially during that time. And because we're talking about 20 years ago now, at least, I was very, very ambitious. I always have been. And I think part of that was I set some unreasonably high expectations for myself. And, we don't know at 21, 22 that 30 is still young. So, when you set goals like, oh, okay, by the time I'm 22 and graduate from college, I'm going to be Oprah Winfrey. You know what I mean? So there was that kind of, that was going on with me, that I had like, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. And then I had major hiccups in college. Like I dabbled in credit card while I was in school, credit card fraud, basically, got arrested, got caught. The first time I've ever done something illegal, and I was just strictly being greedy, got caught. Well, guess what? That went on my record. So that impacted, like, I had a plan. I was going to graduate from college, teach while I pursued my acting and my film career. Well, with me going to jail for a day, basically that didn't happen, right? Because you can't be around kids with a past record. So then I'm like, okay, I got to work on getting that fixed. What can I do? Oh, I'll go to law school. So that was kind of that path. On top of that, I was pursuing my acting in college, and LA was very much like, every time I go on audition, because I ran track for USC, I was too thick. I was, I had to compete, and I was, I'm a chocolate drop, right? So I'm competing also with, being too dark, allegedly. And I was on Fen-Phen. I don't know if you heard of that, but back then that was like the diet drug of the century.
Oh yeah, I was on that too, girl.
Yeah, right. So I was going through, my valuing myself, loving myself, thinking I wasn't small enough. So I had literally gotten down to a size 2 in track when before that I was a size 7 or 8 thick. I was a built athlete. And so I gotten small, but one of the side effects of FemFin is that it can actually alter your serotonin levels. So I was crashing. Like, I would be, like, super duper happy, and then the next day I would be, like, depressed and miserable. And then, so when I graduated from college, I went home. I was on these drugs. I felt like my dreams were derailed because I couldn't teach. My plan was all off. How am I going to ever be an actress? How am I going to ever be a producer because of this on my record, right? And all in one day, and then I literally got into a car accident. And my car got crashed, and I just went home, and I just felt like the whole world was falling in on me. And I just took this bottle of pills. And as soon as my mother walked in, and she, my mother is like, everyone loves Mama Sue. Both of my parents. My dad, Ronald Ashford, I named the company after him, Ron Ash.
Oh, that's
but
nice.
I was with her, and she looked at me. She's like, she calls me her bear. She's like, hey, bear. And she's just hugging on me, and just because that's how she is. And I just started crying because I just thought about her, not me. And I told her what I did.
Oh, wow.
And I'm her only child.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's it. It was like I couldn't. This woman I love so much, I'd be hurting her more if I didn't tell her what I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow.
Yes, so that's my story.
Man, that's a powerful story.
I got therapy. I got therapy, and I went to law school, and just took the path that I told you based on the film producer, and I definitely, the rest is history. But there were still bumps all the way, self-love bumps all the way through, even up until today. I just got married 2 years ago in 2019, and just even being a woman who got married in her 40s and now working on starting a family with my husband, it's definitely been a long journey, but it was more important for me to find someone who really just accepted me unconditionally with my flaws and all, being an ambitious person, someone who wouldn't feel intimidated by me. That was not an easy journey. A brother for me, I wanted to be with someone who looked like me, and come to find out that my husband and we met on Match.com, but we went to USC together, so we were in college at the same time.
Wow. Oh my God. So, okay. It's so funny, right? So, so this is hilarious. It's so funny you say that. I'm glad you said that, because I had a friend. She met her husband on eHarmony, right? So I have a bunch of friends that are single. My daughter is trying to find love. And I always tell them, listen, why don't you just go to eHarmony? eHarmony got like 1 million people that got married. And they be like, we're not answering 900 questions on eHarmony. I was like, well, you don't really want love. But now you're saying, now I got to tell your story all the time. Like, I know somebody, she met her husband on Match, and they're married. Because eHarmony should be paying me. I talk about that so much now. And that's so funny. It's so dating right now. Lord, thank God I don't have to do it, because I don't know if I could do it right now, because I hear these horror stories about trying to find the right guy. I'm not going to say the perfect guy, like the right guy who's going to accept a strong woman and understand that, listen, we can do good together. And I hear that all the time. And it's like, is it really that bad? I was like, oh, it's just really that bad. My poor daughter, she's like, you know what? She has a 2-year-old daughter herself. And she said, I'm showing up. This is the real me you're going to get. And everybody wants to claim it's the real them until she starts to get to know them, and it's not. And she's just so frustrated. So she said to me, I think I'm just going to give up for right now. I'm just going to keep focusing on me. I just can't do it right now. It's just stressful and strainful. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad. Because in my day and time, I didn't have to do that. Like, guys like you like them. You get together. Do you like each other enough to get married? Nah, we don't. Let's break on up. It's like crazy right now. It's the weirdest thing, but that is a good story. So,
well, I would definitely say to your daughter, like, at least in terms of my journey, I think the shift that happened for me is I never gave up. I just changed I basically decided literally at, I think, 39 years old that I was going to let go and let God. And what I mean by that is, prior to that, I was trying to be in control. Like, I was like, okay, let me go to the grocery store and let me see if I find a man here. Let me go out to the club. see if I was looking, right? And so when I had the last relationship before meeting my husband, which that one didn't work, and I literally broke down and I said, okay, God, you know my desire. I'm writing it down. I'm putting it in prayer, and I'm giving it to you. And I literally wrote down what I wanted, closed the book, and I didn't think about it again.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until my first cousin, who met her husband on Match almost a year later, told me that she said what she did. And I said, okay, I can still let go and let God, but put myself back out there. And that's what I did. So I basically got on Match, but I still had the same kind of process where I had detached. And it was just like, hey, if I meet somebody, I meet somebody. If I don't, I don't. And I was so detached from the process that it just, my energy was so positive, and I just was really about God bringing me the right person. And that's what I focused on. I didn't focus on the man. I didn't focus on anything else but God. And I feel like that was the shift for me. So tell her, don't give up. Just refocus, right, on just knowing that, hey, God got your back. You really trust in him, and just tell him what you want, and then go about your life.
Yeah,
and it'll happen when it's supposed to happen.
I'm gonna tell her that because for her, she's really beautiful, and I'm not saying that because she's my daughter. She's just really beautiful, and so they always prejudge her. So they either think she's high maintenance, or they want her to be arm candy, as if she doesn't have sense. So she get prejudged all the time. And when they sit and talk to her, she's super, like, she's really deep, right? She's super duper deep. And it's like, okay, this is not what I was expecting. I was expecting to buy you a purse and you be happy. Yeah, I'm going to spend a lot of money on the purse, but that's all I was expecting to do. I wasn't expecting you to talk to me. It's like crazy stuff like that. I'm like, where you find these people at? So I'm going to definitely tell her that, because that's her thing. People, they prejudge her all the time. She had one guy say to her, he saw her, he's like, yeah, I guess you don't date nothing but ballers. Just looking at her, she never talked to him, and she's like, yeah, that's all I date. And she stopped talking. Like she said, I didn't want to talk to him instantly just from that remark. And it's so crazy. She's such a homebody. So, she's such a homebody. She's not like me. She likes to cook. I'm like, that's not me. When I met my husband, we were in a wedding, and he wanted to be an investor in my business. And I was like, look. So then, after a couple of investment meetings, he was like, try to date me. I was like, let me just tell you something. You don't really want me, because listen, I'm broke. I got bad credit. I got this baby I'm trying to raise by myself, and I'm gonna be an entrepreneur till the day I die. I hate doing laundry, and I don't grocery shop, and I don't like to cook. I came straight out and told him, you don't want me. I got a lot of baggage. You don't want me. He was like, I was raised with 3 sisters and 2 mothers and a grandmother. I'm good. And I said, well, okay, now I done warned you. I ain't changing. Damn. And we've been together 20 years, so I had to lay it out there for him so he'll know what you're getting. And so to this day, he loves to cook still.
Have you changed, though?
I have not changed. I'm the same person. And, well, I'm not going to say that. I have changed somewhat, but a diehard entrepreneur I am. And I do cook occasionally. And I will wash the clothes occasionally. But for the most part, no. Nope, I have not. And so, when he does 7-day stretch, because he works in pharmaceutical, and they're always making some medicine that has to be out by now. And so when he does that, I will make sure he eats, and I'll do the laundry. But when he's just chilling, he has no problem with that. He does his laundry on Sunday when he's watching the game, and he loves to cook. I don't like to cook like that. I like seafood. I can eat crabs every other day. So just give me some crabs. I'm good. So, my mom, he and my mom were the best friends. They were the ones that planned the menus and all this. I didn't care about that. I don't like going to the grocery store. Shopping for clothes and shoes, yes. Grocery shopping, absolutely, I don't like it. But I felt like I needed to be honest with him about that so he would know. And, he was good with it. And I was like, okay, as long as you're good with it now, I ain't changing. So don't think you're going to marry me and I'm going to be cooking and cleaning. It ain't going to happen. My daughter, she that person. I was like, Lord have mercy. You must have got that from your nana, because you ain't get that from me. But anyway, so let's talk about your new project. I know you got a new project coming out. Let's talk about that, because I feel like that's going to be very interesting. I know you're doing some fundraising for that. Share that with my audience.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So yes, we have. So as we stated, the name of my company is Ron Ash LLC, and in honor of my father, who's still living, but just wanted to pay tribute to him for everything he's done to help me to love myself unconditionally. And what we're doing is we are creating a catalog of films. So we've been doing focus groups, self-love series. We're going to have noir talks, panels, where we're just hearing from Black women of all different professions, or, whether all different class levels, all different colors, shapes, everything. We just want to hear their self-love journeys, and we're going to make it into film. And our goal is to at least do 1 a year, if not 2 a year. Our first project is called The Skin You're In, and Sasha Stay, who actually I starred as Sasha in my web series. I'm not sure if I'll be playing her in the actual film yet, but I did so in the web series. Sasha Stay is this celebrity photographer, fashion photographer, but she really wants to be a photojournalist, and she's not able to transition over into that world. And so while she's trying to follow her real passion of photojournalism, she helps at this community center for women who are transitioning out of abusive relationships. She's also trying to date. She's not doing well with that because she has a lot of issues. She comes from a dysfunctional family. Her estranged dad, who she hasn't spoken to in 17 years, he's sick, and he ends up having to move in with her, right? So we basically deal with all of her self-love issues coming home, chickens coming home to roost. Mm-hmm. She has to learn to love herself in order to even help her dad, because she has so much stuff that built up inside, and she doesn't even realize how hurt she is by her dad, by her mom, and how it's impacting her ability to love herself, her ability to even attract a good man or even attract a good job. So really the film just takes us through her process. So we actually see, you see movies sometimes, and especially a love story, a woman starts off with issues, and then at the end, it's like, oh, she's great, she's in love, she met a man, so she's in love. Well, this is about falling in love with yourself, right? So we're going to show that she goes to therapy, she runs, she does meditation, she goes to church, she prays. Like, we're going to show that side of how you learn to go through the process of loving yourself, and showing in film how to do that. And so that's the first project. And right now we're actually having our first crowdfunding on Seed and Spark, and we're launching March 22nd. Okay. And we would love your support. We would love your support.
You got it.
The best way to follow us is Ron Ash, RONASH LLC, and that's actually across all social media channels. It's the same exact handle on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, as well as Twitter. And also we have a website, which is also ronashllc.com. And we would love for people to follow us, and we would love for people to donate. We have a free kickoff party, virtual kickoff party on the 22nd, the same day that we're launching. It's going to be so much fun. We have escape rooms. So, people, I don't know if you've ever done an escape room.
I just did one for my birthday, girl. I did one for my birthday. We didn't get out. We didn't even get past it. We got stuck in the room.
Yes. Oh, well, this one will be great because this will be my first time doing virtual escape rooms. So, but we have a wonderful, by the way, 97% of my team are African-American females, and they're entrepreneurs. And so we have the escape rooms. We also have the Melanin Lounge, where we would just be listening to music. We'll have a Hall of Blackness, which will be a museum honoring Black people in the film industry. And we'll have a film classic, where we'll play some classics all the way back from the 20s through now that highlight Black women who were stars in the film. So it's going to be a great time, and it'll actually be at 4 p.m. and 7 Pacific, because we want to make sure that we can include, we're doing the 4 p.m. for the people on the East Coast. Mm-hmm. So that'll again, if you follow our Ron Ash LLC, you'll see all the updates as far as being able to register, and please join us.
Okay, cool. Now listen, I know you're going to be doing some casting, and I know you're trying to come to the great state of Georgia to make this film happen. Yeah. And I want you to come to Gwinnett, so that's why I got you on the show, because I'm all about, I love Georgia, I love the ATL, but I'm all about the LB and the GD and all that good stuff. So when is your casting call? Are you gonna be casting after you raise the funds? And how much funding are you trying to raise? First, let me ask that question.
So we're trying to raise $4 million.
Okay.
And we will be casting after we raise the money.
Okay, gotcha. So now, I got another question. So, you talked about Hollywood not really being receptive to African American films and putting it in the distribution side of it. With streaming media the way it is right now, and I give you a prime example. I was in Jersey this past weekend, just passed, and Coming to America streamed on Prime, Amazon Prime. I don't even know, was it in the movies? Because I watched it on Prime. And I'm thinking, wow.
No, it streams directly to Amazon Prime.
Directly to Amazon Prime. So that's where we are in this space right now. So are you trying to be in theaters? Because here's my thought. This is my thought. And this is because I've been in this space since 2013. And I tell people, like, I know you want to be on the big screens, but people are sitting at home watching TV. We sat there and watched Coming to America in my friend's living room. And we just chilled out and had peace and chicken, right? And it was great. It was absolutely great. With the way streaming platforms are right now, and when I tell you it is so simple to get a streaming platform up, even if you want to have a subscription-based system, are you trying to take it to the big screens or are you trying to take it to the small screens? Which way are you going with that?
We are definitely going with the streaming platform right now. We are moving with the times, right? So obviously we're in a pandemic right now, and I don't, even with the vaccine coming out, I don't anticipate that people are going to be flocking to the movie theaters within the next couple of years. So our goal is to hopefully get a distribution deal with like an Amazon Prime or a Netflix or a Hulu. So that would be the ideal. And if that doesn't happen, then, you know, we saw Brother Nate when he first came out with his movie American Skin, which I just saw, and it was a great movie. We paid for it right on Google Play.
That's right.
So. Yeah, so plan B is if no one is interested in distributing us, then we will have to self-distribute. But yes, we're going to definitely do it on a streaming platform.
And Sauda, let me just tell you this, honestly. If you got some marketing dollars, you don't need Hulu or Netflix. You can become Hulu or Netflix. Let me just say that. So, because it's that simple. Like, a lot of people still don't understand it. Like, I have a TV network on if you got a Roku, if you go to Noise Media Network, you pull up my TV network. If you go to Amazon Fire and pull up Noise Media Network, you pull it up. If you got an Apple TV, pull up Noise Media Network, you're going to pull it up. If you go to Android TV, and a lot of people don't even know Android make TVs, which is crazy because mostly all the smart TV platforms are built on the Android software. But if you got an Android television, which is probably probably like a no name, like a Daewoo or something, Noise Media Network is there. So, and you can make all of them subscription sites or pay-per-view sites. So even if they don't, and if I were you, I'll keep all the money. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't know how much money they pay, because I heard Netflix don't pay a lot to take your film and put it up there for a couple of years, but you can distribute on all of them platforms yourself and just put some marketing dollars behind it and push it out on all of them and pay about $6,000 a year for the platform. So I just want to share that with you because that's what I pay roughly for my net.
That's good to know. I didn't know. I know that. I didn't know. I know that it's a possibility, but you know, I know that usually distribution companies put a lot of money behind marketing. So that's of course the biggest issue, right? Is us getting out in front of as many people as possible. But I'm definitely would love to talk to you about that offline at some point, because I'm definitely interested in hearing more about that.
Yeah. Because I'm one of those people, like, I believe this, right? If you don't want me, I'll do it myself. That's how I am, and I've always been that way. That's why I got HerTube, and that's why I got Noise, and so I don't really wait when I want something. I'll come to you and I say, hey, listen, I want to do this, and if you don't want to do it, sometimes I say, well, God has said this is not the time for that, right? And I say, okay, right. I'm not going to push the issue because God is saying no. When God says yes, he make it happen for me. Like, I'm doing like right now, I'm in the process, like, I love podcasting. I've been doing it since 2009. But it was like a hobby. It was before it became this major industry. And so last year I made the conscious decision, like, I'm going all in on building this hyper local podcast brand, which is Good Morning Gwinnett, which is Gwinnett County where I live. So I was like, I'm going all in on that. But you know, I want to build it so it's a brand that's gonna live for a minute. So I got all these different ideas about things I want to do. Like, I was gonna launch it. I was gonna start a breakfast beer, you know, and I'll try anything, you know. But when I talked to the people that's supposed to help me do that, I didn't get like, they showed me love. Like, one guy was like, let's do it. His partner was like, not really. And so I took that as a sign from God, like, yep, I'm not supposed to do that right now. Cause I was pushing, and I wasn't getting what I needed. And you have to be ready to listen for God first, not your ego, not your wants, but what God is saying. So I was like, God is telling me, nope, it's not the time for that. So, you know, I think it's great that you're doing it. And I just want to always say, if they don't give you what you want when it comes to distribution, do it yourself. Social media has changed a lot of what we do. So
thank you. I'll actually just, before we get off, I just wanted to say one thing, as I completely forgot. As you were talking about your story, I just remembered we're actually having a panel with LaTanya Moore, who is the one who referred me to you, on the 18th, and it's called The Power and Fortitude of Black Women, Access No Longer Denied. And we're actually talking about when they don't give us a seat at the table, how we need to make our own table.
That's right.
Right? So it's exactly what you're talking about. So I'm going to have 4 powerhouse women, and including myself, we're going to be on the panel, and we're going to talk about how we use our self-love armor in order to have the courage and the faith to step out on own and create our own path and our own businesses when other people tell us no. So that also is going to be, that's the 18th of March at 5:30 Pacific, and we also, again, Ron Ash LLC, you'll be able to see more details about that.
All right. That's what I'm talking about. They don't give us a seat at the table. Hell, we'll build us a table. We ain't playing no games.
Right.
That's right. We ain't playing no games. It's time out for all the games. Well, thank you so much for being my guest today. I really enjoyed this, and I look forward to you coming down here and producing that film in Gwinnett County. Listen to me speaking that into existence. To produce that film here in Gwinnett County. I look forward to that. So please let me know when you're ready to come down. Also, I will be going to. I want to be a part of the 22nd event. And I want to show up to the 18th event. So I'm going to go to RonAshLLC.com to find out more information there. And I invite you guys to go do the same if you want to support her and everything that they're doing. So now, if someone wants to support the film, you're on the crowdfunding platform. Which one are you on? You said Seed and Spark.
Yes, Seed and Spark. We launched on the 22nd. And basically, as of the 21st, you will be able to either go to our website, and which will take you directly to Seed and Spark. And so that the information will be there. But right now, you can just fill out the contact us, so we'll have your information. And that's the other alternative until this, because the platform doesn't open until the 22nd. But before that, you can just fill out our contact us form, and then we will send you an email and say the platform is open. But just know that we do launch on the 22nd.
So I know this is a comedy drama. So at Seed and Spark, I want to go and make a donation. Am I gonna get like a cameo? Because I kind of want to. So I was in this film one time. It was hilarious. So let me just tell you a story. I was in this film one time, right? And I played myself, but the other actors didn't know I played myself. I played a business coach, right? So when they shot the film, the girl that was sitting with me, she said, "Oh my God, you were so good." I said, "Yeah, this is what I do it was hilarious." I said, "Yeah, this is what I do in real life. Now you get me to act. I don't know how good I'll be, but if you let me play myself," it was so funny. Cause she's like, "Oh, that was so good." And I was like, "This is my real life." That's why I was able to do it so well. But that's hilarious. So as people
it's funny you mentioned it. We do have one of our incentives. It's actually our most expensive incentives, because we go all the way from $15 to $7,500, and we have all these different incentives and prices in between. But our most expensive one is a cameo appearance. So you will get a line in the movie. You'll get to come. Well, for you, you're already in Georgia, but if we're right there in your county, we fly you there. You get to go to the rap party, and you'd be a part of the production, and you'd have your name and credits. So yes, that is definitely one. It's only for one person. So the first person who buys it that's their cameo. But so we would love to have you.
All right. So listen, guys, you heard it right here. Sauda Johnson-McNeal, visionary filmmaker, culture shaper, self-movement, love creator, and the person that's going to make this film in Gwinnett County. Yeah, I'm keep talking about that because, and I'm going to put you in contact with some people so you can reach out and make friends and do some nice things like that. So they may open some doors for you here in Gwinnett County. I don't know what our film budget looks like here, but Georgia's there's a lot of good abatements and things like that. So I would definitely put you in contact, give you some information on how to contact the two women that I talked about. But thank you for being my guest. I look forward to following your journey. I think what you're doing is amazing. And if there's anything I could do to help to get the word out for what you're doing, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or Georgette. My email is audrey@goodmorninggwinnett.com, so you can reach out to me there, or audrey@noisemedia.us there as well. And anything I can do to help you here. When you get ready to do casting, I know a bunch of actors. My daughter acts, and she has a nice little circle of people who have been in some shorts and some features here in Georgia. Let me know, and I'll definitely pass that information on to them as well, to get some young, fresh talent from Georgia here. We try to put people to work here in Georgia, especially when it's something that they love doing. So I'm excited about that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on your show. It's really been an honor.
Thank you. All right, guys. So you heard it here, Saida. Thank you. You have a wonderful one. Today's my weekend. Like I work Monday through Thursday on the show. I'm off tomorrow. Not really off, but I'm off from the show tomorrow. I'll be back again Monday. But thank you so much, and I'll be in contact soon.
All right. Have a blessed day.
You too. Bye-bye. All right, guys. Listen, I'm going to go to my last song, and I'm going to come back and give you my words of inspiration. Stay tuned.
Time goes by and yet I wonder, are you and me still the same? Are you still loving the game? I know I don't. You cast your spell and I went under. I know the laughter and the pain. Will I ever love again? I don't know if I can take it anymore. So I stay here and hold my heart when you walk out the door. Made a promise to myself and I repeat it in my head. Set your mind free, set your mind free. No one knows what I've been through, but this is the end of me and you. Set your mind free. Made a promise to myself, this time I will keep it. Where there's a will, yeah, there's a way. With every smile, with every tear, I know I will make it. I'm gonna see a brighter day. Oh, 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 oh. A brighter day, a brighter day. Oh, a brighter day. Time goes by and yet I wonder, why do we put each other through hell? Why can't we just get over ourselves? I know I should. You cast your spell and I went under. I know the laughter and the pain. Will I ever love again? I don't know if I can take it anymore. Yeah, so I stay here and hold my heart when you walk out the door. Yeah, made a promise to myself and I repeat it in my head. Set your mind free, set your mind free. No one knows what I've been through, but this is the end of me and you. Set your mind free. Oh, hey, yeah. Oh, oh, right, yeah. Made a promise to myself, this time I will keep it. Where there's a will, yeah, there's a way. With every smile, with every tear, I know I will make it. I'm gonna see a brighter day, brighter day.
Welcome back. So, listen, guys, I gotta go. Today is my Friday. Of course, it's actually Thursday, but it's my Friday. Well, listen, it's my Friday from you guys, but I'll still be working tomorrow because I got a lot of stuff to do, which I always have a lot of stuff to do. But anyway, before I go, I want to give you my words of inspiration, and here goes. The best things in life are always within your reach. Let me say that one more time. The best things in life are always within your reach. They are. I know sometimes things seem so far. You heard Sauda talk about her dream of becoming a filmmaker. She had that dream since she was a little girl. She went to film school. She went to acting school. She did all these things. She's a writer. She's a producer. She went to college. She came out. She decided that her life wasn't worth living for a brief moment. And then she realized without me, my mom would be hurting. And then she turned that all around, and now she's a filmmaker. She's an attorney. All that stuff was within her reach, but she had to believe that it was within her reach. Just like you, there's something that you want to do right now, and it seems difficult. It seems like, oh my God, I'm never going to get there. It is within your reach. But here's the thing. You have to believe for it, and you have to reach for it, right? You can't sit back on it. You got to believe for it, and you got to reach for it. And then once you believe for it and reach for it, you got to take massive action to make it happen. Trust me when I tell you, I spend pretty much every day, thinking about this thing that I'm doing. I'm so excited to be just focusing on Good Morning Gwinnett, building a local brand, showing people how to do that. Because a lot of times we feel like, oh my God, we got to go and we got to be all over the world. Not really. You can build your brand right where you are. And that's what's so exciting about this. I want to build a community brand. I think I told y'all the story about the guy who wanted me to be his manager. And he just wanted to be a celebrity in his state. He didn't want to go to New York. And I was like, listen, but what happens if, Rockefeller want to sign you? He's like, I'm not signing to Rockefeller. I said, really? You wouldn't sign? He's like, no, I'm not signing to them. I want to be a celebrity right here. I want to be a household name right here in North Carolina. And I thought that was the craziest thing ever. But for some people, that's enough. I know Good Morning Gwinnett is going to be a multi-million-dollar brand. I already know that, because I'm putting in the work. And probably in the next 5 years, it may even be $1 billion brand. But if I don't believe enough that it's within my reach, it's never going to happen. And I can tell you, there were times where I didn't believe that was within my reach. I have changed because I see people doing amazing things and they're doing it quickly. I like technology. I can see some kind of multimedia app around this whole thing that I'm building. I have 2 apps. One is for Noise Media Network and one is for Good Morning Gwinnett. I have 2 apps. I don't talk about Good Morning. I don't talk about Noise Media Network that often, but it is the parent company for Good Morning Gwinnett. It has a separate mobile app just for that. I have a mobile app just for Good Morning Gwinnett. I'm about to do something else. I'm going to have a mobile app just for that. So, you have to believe that it's within your reach. Whatever that is, if you're trying to reach a certain weight level, you have to believe it's within your reach. But you got to do the work too. The best things in life are within your reach. But you got to believe it and you got to reach for them. You just do. Reach for what you want, baby. That's all I got for you today. Could have been anywhere in the world. You spent the last hour and 11 minutes with me. And I appreciate you and love you to life for that. Be sure to follow me on Facebook at Good Morning Gwinnett. Follow me on Instagram at Good Morning Gwinnett. And follow me on the Twitter at GM Gwinnett. Also, download the app from the App Store. If you got an Android or Apple phone, there's an app for that for Good Morning Gwinnett. If you want to listen to me in your house, ask Alexa to open up Good Morning Gwinnett. Alexa, open Good Morning Gwinnett, and it will play the latest episode. Also, be sure to go to Apple Podcasts. Find your favorite 2 episodes and give it 5 stars. Appreciate you and love you for that. Support this show. Go to goodmorninggwinnett.com. There is a banner right in the center of the page, right up under the podcast player to say support. Click that and support the show. I really appreciate you for that. Without you guys, this show would not exist because I would have to go get a job and work a real job. Not that this is not a real job. I probably work more on this business than anything else I've ever done because it's constantly learning about the technology, learning about the industry. Podcast industry is bumping right now. It is on fire. I started podcasting in 2009. It just caught on fire in the last 2 years. Like it's on fire right now. And so I have to stay abreast of what's going on in the industry so I can make sure that I am doing the things that I need to do to bring you great content, entertaining content, and content that's going to inspire you to move to the next level. That's why I bring these great guests, and I want to thank Georgette so much for always booking some amazing people to come on here and share their stories and share their visions with us and share their mission. So without her, I'll be pulling the other side of my hair out because she takes that off my plate. So I can focus on all the tech side of things and how things go and finding the great music and all that great stuff and all the marketing. So I appreciate her for that. I'll be back again Monday at 10 a.m. God willing. Listen, stay safe out there. Kiss your family. Hug your husband. Buy your wife some flowers. Tell everybody you love them. Keep your mask on. Keep your mask on. We're still socially distancing here, right? Corona's still out there. She's not playing. She's still out there. I love you guys. Y'all stay safe. I'll be back again Monday at 10 a.m. God willing. Until next time, you know what to do. Make it a great day. Bye, y'all.
You've been listening to Good Morning Gwinnett. Make sure to tune in Monday through Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time to find out what's happening around Gwinnett. If you like this episode, subscribe now and share with your friends. To learn more about Noise Media Network, visit noisemedia.us.